Welcome to the Goal Podcast, the podcast for serious soccer players and their supporters to help further their development and navigate their way throughout their soccer career.
Welcome into another edition of the Goal Podcast. I'm Matt Doherty. Joined with me in studio today is our editor, Matt Langone. Matt, how are you?
What's up, Matt? How you doing?
Good. And we got a special guest on today, UNH men's head coach, Rich Weinrebe. Rich, how are you?
Doing great, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Thanks for joining us, Rich.
Thanks for coming on.
Great to have you. I know it's busy. It's busy times always for a Division I college soccer coach, especially at a powerhouse like New Hampshire. So we appreciate it. I guess first off the bat, you guys are only a couple months away from camp really and getting things going, which is crazy. Maybe a little more than a couple months. How are things shaping up? How's the roster looking for 2025?
Good, yeah. Feels weird to say that we're just a couple months away, but I think things are trending in a really good direction. We have a couple more pieces to kind of put together, but I feel really good about the quality of the guys, the character of the players that are coming in, and I feel really good about the guys that are returning that have some like real live UNH men's soccer experience, regular season championship experience, playoff experience that can carry over and kind of push us forward this coming fall. So yeah, a lot of work, changing landscape, as everybody knows, and trying to navigate that, but getting creative with our recruiting and building it up in a little bit of a different way.
How did you build the roster for this year? Like, I know we'll get into that too, because the transfer portal obviously has changed the way you build rosters, and we did a story on that in our last magazine. But I'm curious, like, how, this is your second year, right? Like, how did you build this roster? How do you kind of juggle all those moving parts with grad transfers and international players and all that? Like, take me through kind of this off season and how you built this roster.
Yeah, when I got there last January, it was like, let's pull as many guys in as possible, guys who have experience in Division I, and trying to maximize the guys within our roster. Because the year before that, we lost the 14 guys that played the most minutes in the group. The team that played Clemson, 14 of those guys either graduated or went professional. So when the first season rolled around, it was like, pull guys in. But then this year, we really made an effort to try to bring in guys that had multiple years left. We've brought in 2 or 3 guys with 1 year remaining, not grad transfer, but undergrad transfers, and then 1 guy is doing a certificate. But everybody else up to this point has 2, 3, or 4 years remaining of eligibility, which we think, and I personally think, is really important for culture turnover, for understanding how to win, for knowing the system, for just an overall winning experience, and to try to find that consistent winning, which we've had over so many years, the last 10 years here. And I think when we were at our best, we've had so many great teams here that I was a part of as an assistant. But when we were at our true best, it was when those guys had been in the system for a few years and really understood everything, and we could win at a really, really high level. There's lots of ways to do it, but we feel pretty strongly about this. So getting some good young 4-year guys in, a couple junior college transfers, 1 or 2 1-year guys that we feel really good about, and then maybe some international guys that have multiple years as well, was how we wanted to approach it. And I think we put it into a good place to really compete for something special in the fall.
Rich, with the landscape being where it is right now with college sports and the transfer portal just so booming every single year, I'm just curious, like, is this now becoming, do coaches kind of have to like walk on eggshells a little more and make everyone feel welcome and make everyone feel like how much do you have to be cognizant of the fact that so many things can like cause a kid to maybe look elsewhere and make you think, maybe this isn't the best fit. Maybe this is another, because, their eyes could be on so many different things right now. Like, I'm playing here, but am I playing enough? Am I getting enough? Am I enough of a focal point in our attack? All that stuff. I mean, how hard is it to navigate this system right now as a coach, the way it is?
Yeah, the system's crazy. It's crazy. There's no way to count it. Like, there's no other way to say it. Like,
right.
There's thousands of guys on the portal, a lot of which won't even find homes. Like
Right.
maybe their soccer careers are over.
That's crazy, man.
But I don't think, I think the culture at UNH has always been one of understanding of who each person is, and they're you're setting the expectation during the recruiting process in a lot of ways. And then certain guys develop in certain ways, certain guys come and impact in different ways, certain guys don't have the roles they want and they want to have a bigger role, and that's fine. But I try to work in transparency. So, and with that comes just like a mutual respect. And, if guys, I don't feel like I need to walk on eggshells with guys, because I'm just telling them what the deal is and how it is. And then a lot of guys, they love it here. This is a great place to go to school. This is a great place to play soccer. You have huge community support. We win. Guys move on to the next level. Like all of these really fun, special things happen at New Hampshire, and guys don't want to leave, which is great, which is a really good thing. And then it's our job to, commit to those guys and develop them, help them, continue to improve. And if it's not the right fit, then we encourage them to find something maybe better. And we've had some instances of that, guys leaving and going to different places and excelling, or going to Division III and being like players of the year in the conference. And, that's a great experience too. So, yeah, transparency is kind of the best medicine, I think, for kind of what's going on now. So guys kind of know where they stand, and then they can make decisions based on that,
I'm curious, just as a quick follow-up on that too, though. Have you noticed, has there been any deterioration in the modern player right now in terms of like work ethic or desire because of the ability to leave? I mean, do you feel like players today have that same drive that players when you were playing, or when, from yesteryear, from even like 10 years ago? Now, you don't even have to go that far back, 5-10 years ago, because you went to a program, you stuck it out, you realize as a freshman, your minutes might not be that high. You try to progress through the program and carve out a role. And now, like, it's kind of like that instant gratification where it's like, oh, it didn't work out, I'm going to go somewhere else. I mean, do you feel like that's is the players suffering because of that?
Yeah. I think like it's become harder for players to do hard things, and typically based around playing time. So like, I would think back a lot to like when I was getting recruited and going to college. Like, you used to have high school soccer, and some of these guys still do. We used to have high school soccer be very, very prevalent, and you would start as a freshman, and then you would have to kind of work your way into things. And even if you were a top ninth grader, you're still playing against 18-year-olds, and those guys might be better than you or more experience or whatever, right? But then you had a little bit of that. And then you move into more of the like MLS Next setup, where everybody's playing most of the time, and there's balancing of playing time and schedules and rotating of teams. And so everybody feels like they should be playing all the time. So then when they get to college, it's kind of the first time they're experiencing that. So I think it's harder for some people to do hard things. I think resiliency is shifted a little bit, but we again, like with the transparency, like we're not selling, and I think we probably lost some guys on this, but like even guys that are transfers, we're not selling something that's not going to happen for them. We're trying to give them a realistic view on this place and what their role could be and what it might take to achieve. And if they get here and they get it, that's great. But if they get what we're and they don't get it, or they get what we're kind of describing, and we haven't lied to them, we haven't told them something that's not true, and then maybe they'll be more apt to kind of push through that and fight for that. So yeah, for here, especially, like, we don't have all the glitz and glam. We have winning, we have a great school, we have a great location. We have guys going pro, but we don't have all the flash, right? So you need the right person to come to UNH and win and be a part of something bigger than themselves,
I'm curious about that. Like, how did UNH kind of get to this level? Like, obviously you've played there and coached there, and now you're the head coach. And like, as someone who, doesn't follow college soccer that closely, they might be like, UNH, like they're good at soccer. Like they're, a consistent contender and making NCAA tournaments. Like, how did that happen? Like, how did UNH kind of separate themselves from other New England schools and become what they are now in your mind?
Yeah. like when I first got there and I was out on the road, like, and I'd say like UNH, a lot of people thought we were New Haven, so like I was like,
Exactly.
and then,
That's a rough one. Yeah. Oh, New Hampshire. No, New Hampshire.
no disrespect, like at all, but like I was like,
Right.
no, New Hampshire, and that was like, part of it. And I'd be out on the road a lot, like doing that. But it really, again, it came down to the people, being creative within our recruiting, relationships with like either connections or contacts, how we treated people, and then the system. My former boss, Mark, like he has a great system. We would identify and recruit people to that system, and we would find the right character for people to want to play here, and guys that had like chips on their shoulders and maybe were underachievers or overlooked. And that's really how it started and got it rolling. And then once we got some momentum, then we're able to bring in some of these higher end guys, that other people from the outside would consider higher end, like Yannick Wrights and Moise Pompitos and guys that get the headlines. But like Josh Bauer, was a guy that played for a very small club in New Hampshire, and he redshirted his first year, and then he was like defender of the year for 3 years, and now he's playing in the MLS, and it's an incredible story. So, and Josh is just like such a hard worker, and Max is maximizing himself every day and ultra competitive and a good person. So trying to find those types of guys, that's how it got rolling, kind of build momentum from there.
The 2025 season is going to be interesting because you guys now reside in the same conference as the national champions. I mean, Vermont is kind of like you guys have that.
That's a wry smile.
Yeah, you have that rivalry within the league. You bordering states. It's two great programs in the America East, and now, I mean, it's elevated New England soccer. Clearly, it's elevated. I mean, you guys have with your success, but now you're the national champions in New England. It's from the America East Conference. What is that like to go into a season knowing you have the national champs in your league as kind of your chief rival, and how much it maybe elevates the America East, and how does that shape your approach this season with maybe even more of a target on everyone's back? Bryant has been really good over the last couple of years as well, so things have been elevated. So how do you approach this year?
I think we approach it the same as every year. Like, we're the most underrated conference in the entire country. And I think everybody that works in America East in the men's soccer conference would feel the same. Like, we feel like we're one of the best. And to play in our league, it is extremely hard. Like, everybody's well coached, organized, lots of good players on every single team, different styles, different, and everybody wants to win, and it's tight every year. So there's lots of just great people and great coaches within the conference, and then our approach stays the same. We always want to beat Vermont, so that's a simple one. Like, that's been the rivalry. That's been the rivalry over the last 10 years. And
yeah, so I'm not overselling it when I say rivalry. You guys view it as a rivalry too, right?
Oh, it is. Yeah. For sure. And we've been, I mean, there's been other teams that have come in, like Albany has been great. UMBC has been great. Bryant most recently has been great. But like, it usually ends with like UNH and Vermont at the end of the season, historically, like recent history, right? So I think, we look at that as a big rivalry game always. We vote. There's a good connection there between coaching staffs. So a good, healthy rivalry there. And our approach is always the same. We want to win the league. We want to win the tournament. We want to go further than them in the NCAA tournament, and I think them winning the national championship is something that we've all been screaming from the rooftops that, hey, somebody in America East can do this. So I thought it was going to be us. I was hoping it was going to be us, but I'm not surprised somebody from the conference really did it. Because
I was going to say, were you surprised? Because that night when they won it, my friends were texting me. I mean, who pay attention to soccer like peripherally? They're not, they're not diehards, but they watch the national championship game on TV. I was getting texts. Did Vermont just win the national championship? And so I'm like, yeah. It's not really that. I mean, I wasn't really surprised either because they had made runs. But I wanted to ask you, like, now that when it actually happened, like you weren't to see it on TV, to see them win the thing, you weren't surprised at all by that?
No. Yeah. No, because I think like if you play Vermont all the time, or you play these teams in our conference all the time, there's such a familiarity there. Like, I'm watching some of these games, like, oh, this is going to be trouble for the other team because of how they're kind of going about certain
Right.
things, and the resiliency of Vermont, and the belief in their system, and the ability that they have within the group. They're just, it's underrated, overlooked. And I feel the same about us, even though we've historically, we've gone to the Sweet 16 3 times, top 25 almost every year, 7 out of the 8 years NCAA tournament. You still are overlooked in some ways, So I'm not surprised by it at all. That somebody within the conference did it, in all honesty.
But have you always known, like, even 5-10 years ago, like a school like UNH or Vermont can win a national title? Like, have you always believed that that's possible, or did this kind of like, make things come into clear, like, oh, this can actually happen? Or did you kind of already know that all along, that a school like UNH or Vermont can do that against the Power 5 schools per se?
Yeah, I think after like the first 3 or 4 years, like in our third year when I was an assistant here, we made the Sweet 16. We lost to Indiana, who ended up going to the final, finishing second, I think. After that, there was a real belief that we could do that, that UNH could do that, that we could make a run, get past the Sweet 16, get into the Elite Eight. Anything can happen, right? And Vermont's been to the Elite Eight a few times. But there's an honest belief in the room that another team could win another one. Like, even with the changing landscape, like, I think we all believe in what we're doing within the conference. Like, we believe what we're doing at New Hampshire. They believe at Vermont. I guarantee you, go down the line, I think all these teams within the conference, no matter where they are in different points of their tenures, they believe that it could happen for another team within the league. And that's been probably the last 6-7 years where we've really felt like, hey, we can really win a national championship. That's the messaging, and we believe it. It's not BS. It's real. It's not about just conference championships and trophies. It's about national championships, and that's the real thing.
It's awesome, man.
Shifting over to roster building, I know you have some New England recruits coming in as freshmen this year. How important is that to you, to, as someone who's been around New England soccer for a long time, a player, coach, everything? How important is it to recruit locally and make sure you take care of these, you find spots for some of these best, the top local players that you can find around here?
It's massively important. I think we need to do a really good job in our own backyard, getting the best New Hampshire guys, getting the best Seacoast United guys, and then filtering out within New England. And then pulling in from out of region as well, a guy or two out of region every single year. And those are the guys that can be the core of your team, either the cultural core or the on-field core. And you've seen guys like a Rory O'Driscoll. He's from Minnesota, but he was like a 4-year guy that came here. He had an incredible career here. Guys like Jake Gould, Jack Doherty, those are New Hampshire guys. Josh Power, New Hampshire guy, have had incredible careers here. And I'm going to not be able to name everyone, obviously.
Right.
There's so many guys, they're 4-year guys that are local to this, to UNH, that have come and had huge impacts. And I think we need that here. We shouldn't be recruiting like 18 guys every year, or 16 guys or 14 guys. Because then you spend lots of work on culture. It takes a little bit too long for things to come together. Like, even this year, we finished the season 5-1-3, but it was just not enough. It was like 1 game, 2 games, not enough. Where we still win the regular season championship, finished first, got the first seed, but like missed the NCAA tournament by probably 1 win.
Right.
So, like, having that cultural turnover, having guys with experience being at UNH and staying in the system, keeping them there, like we talked about, and making sure they understand their path. We want every guy that comes into UNH to play. We want them to play because we want to be able to bring guys in, develop them, and have them impact things, not just in the locker room, but on the field. So, yeah, I think we've done a great job of that. And we've even we've brought in a couple 4-year guys that haven't been announced yet, that we feel really good about. One from like a local prep school, Woodstock Academy. That's a 4-year player who we felt like if we waited on somebody like that, he went on the transfer portal, maybe because he goes to a different place and not happy, we wouldn't be able to get, that'd be a hard one to get with how things are changing within the landscape. So we wanted to make sure we went after some of those players a little bit earlier, and then supplement with some of these older guys, because you can't win with 18-year-olds at a really high level. That's a real challenge within college soccer. So you can play with some. We started 2 freshmen in almost every game last year, and they did great.
It's funny though, because earlier in my career, I covered a lot of college basketball, and so many college basketball coaches I talked to would say they were so hesitant about adding transfers because of what you just said, like the culture shift it might create. Like they're used to something somewhere else. They left the school for a certain reason. How's that going to influence my culture when I recruit my own kids and I get them in early and I develop them? That's setting the culture early. Some of these other transfers come in, they come in with a preconceived notion of what a culture is. And now, like you said, it's so crazy because now it's like you need to survive in college sports. Like you have to have some of these transfers because you can't just trot out 18-year-olds who haven't played college sports to play against 21-year-old grown men who have been playing college sports.
No, you can't do it. Yeah. You can have some, but you can't. Where we are, you can't do it. So,
right.
And I think there's always like a big debate, like internationals versus American kids, and American kids aren't getting the chance. But we want them to get the chance. But if you're talking about how people are recruiting, and if we were just going for, let's say, quote unquote, like 18-year-old American players and trying to just bring those guys in, that's a really hard model for us to have sustainable winning, because we're not necessarily the top destination for some of these guys. So you have to get creative, and you have to bring that in. And then when you get the transfers, you have to do your due diligence on them, call their coaches. Why did they leave? We get a lot of guys from Iowa Western Community College because I know the coach over there, and he's a great person, and he does a really good job with his guys. And he'll be like, hey, this guy's not a fit for you, or this guy needs a little bit of work in this area, or this guy's the perfect guy. And those guys have come to have lots of success here at UNH. So, it's a wild world. You're trying to make sure your culture's in a good spot, because it's why we do it. Like, I love being around the guys, having a team that's all on the same page, pulling in the same direction, trying to do something special. So, you're really just trying to make sure you're bringing the right people through the door.
Yeah, you're still a young head coach, right? You've done 3 years. This was your first at UNH. I'm curious what you've learned over the last couple years, and especially, just finishing at UNH, like heading into year 4 as a head coach. Like, are there things that you want to grow at as a coach? And if so, what are they, and how do you kind of continue to evolve? And obviously what we just talked about, the transfer portal, like that's a whole nother thing. Like, for you as a coach personally, like how do you get better as a coach over the next couple of years, and what are you taking away from your first few years?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely still growing as a coach, and which is a good thing. I think you should always probably be growing and trying to develop and reassessing after a season. This year, I definitely did. I've learned a few things just in my 3 years, and after this year for sure. One is I've always been a player's coach. So and that was my major role as an assistant. Like I was in the weeds, talking to these guys, getting to know them, keeping them going, like getting on a personal level. And I love that part of it. And what I need to develop a little bit more is just the balance of, coming down on guys in certain ways, or holding people accountable in certain ways that's maybe a little bit more open. Because I'm more apt to bring guys in, have small conversations, or get them into the office, or do some go about it in a little bit of a different way. But I need to set a cultural tone just a tiny bit better. So that's something that I looked at, cultural tone of accountability. But I looked at a little bit after my 3 years. That's something that I can for sure improve. That's definitely one thing. And another just area of growth, man, I've learned so much. It's a really interesting thing, because you don't know what you don't know till you're really in the chair, and you're trying to really pinpoint what you can do, what you can develop on, how you can build it, how you can grow. But I think I found our system of play. That was something that within the first 2 years I searched for a little bit. So now we're recruiting towards a system and having a clear identity there. So within the recruiting process, we can be a little bit more specific, and really just kind of creating that better environment of accountability and going about things and getting out of my comfort zone in a little bit of in a way to make sure that we stay good, because we've been good for years and it's not about to change anytime soon.
That's good stuff. I mean, I think that is true. I feel like every year you probably change a little bit as a coach from just being, or being experiencing different things and different outcomes and different types of players. And I say all the time, the current landscape it is right now, you guys have a hard job. I mean, coaching right now in 2025 is just, it's got to be tough. It's got to be. I mean, but like Matt said, you're still young in the process. You love it even more every day, or what's is it?
It's great. It's maddening. Like the soccer stuff is great. Like it really, it's special. Like, I'm one of like 207 people to have this job. It's really pretty incredible. And we want to really just develop young people and have them grow into great human beings,
right.
And win as much as possible along the way. But it's interesting, it's frustrating, but it's sport. So like it's always going to be that, no matter where you're at, what level you're at. But I love it, yeah, and it's great to be back here at UNH. I loved my time down in Boston, and I had massive growth down there and really figured some things out, which kind of put me in a position to come back and I think do a much better job here than I would have if I had gotten the job right after being an assistant, just like transitioned into the different chair. So lots of growth moments and opportunities over the past 3 years.
That's awesome. And before we let you go, what's kind of the next couple months looking for you in the program heading into the season? It's I mean, June 1st is like tomorrow, and then when you guys are getting going soon, what are these summer months for you heading into the season looking like?
Try to spend some time with family. I have two small kids, so a 1.5-year-old and a 3-month-old. So try to make sure I get some time with them and spend as much time as possible there. We have a couple more recruits to finish up for 2025, so trying to kind of button those things up and make sure we're bringing the right final pieces. And then camps, we do some summer camps within the community, and then we do a big overnight camp at UNH, which is a great community builder. So we love doing those and kind of interacting with a lot of the people that come to our games. And then prep and planning for preseason, how we're going to approach this year, how we think we're going to kind of map things out and kind of get us ready for the start of the season come August. So busy. There's never a break really. So you got to try to find time when you can get to the beach or whatever, it's just, even if it's a day.
When does camp start? Like early August?
Yeah. So August 4th is when preseason starts for us. Yep. And then you get 17 days, and then the 21st we go.
First game 21st.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great. Yep, exciting. We have a great schedule. I think it'll put us into a good position to have a really high RPI if we do well, and challenge us in a couple different ways, playing teams from out of region and doing some of those things that really prepare you for like a deep NCAA tournament run. So that's the goal.
Awesome.
Good stuff. Yeah, man, it's going to go by fast. Yeah, get that beach time in while you can. You got it.
Are you serious about playing your sport in college? Do you need a flexible education that allows you to maintain your practice and competition schedules while also preparing you to succeed at the next level? You should check out the University of Nebraska High School. UNHS is accredited and offers more than 100 online courses, including NCAA-approved courses to protect your academic eligibility. Students could earn a UNHS diploma or take a single course for transfer credit. Courses are college prep, self-paced, and available 24/7, 365. Enroll anytime and take up to a year to complete a course. Visit highschool.nebraska.edu today.
Serious about playing college soccer? Elite college soccer camps are your gateway. Train with top college coaches and receive personalized feedback. Our West Coast Elite camps offer exposure to national programs, plus small group seminars on recruiting and college life. Included is a free camp Zoom for parents and players covering the ever-changing recruitment landscape. At the camp conclusion, get a verbal and written 101 evaluation, free 11v11 game footage, and access our analyst option. With coaches from NESCAC to the Big West and all over the country, our unique format maximizes exposure. Trainers are on site, lunch delivery is available, and parents can watch every game. Our camps sell out, so don't miss out. Register now at elitecollegesoccercamps.com. That's elitecollegesoccercamps.com. Your path to the next level starts here.
It's the end of regulation, so let's move to extra time.
Yes, welcome back to Extra Time, the segment where I lob 3 questions the way of both our guests and our panelists here, and they're unprepared for these questions, so the plot thickens or thins. I don't know. All right, Coach, we'll let you go first. We'll start off with the following question. What's something that you love about soccer that maybe most other people don't? Or if you prefer, something you really don't care for about soccer that most people enjoy or favor?
I love everything about the game. What I've started to not like at all about the game, from a viewer's perspective in pro soccer, is VAR. I think it's absolutely terrible.
Can you repeat that, Coach? I didn't catch it. Is the what?
Yeah, VAR, video review.
Oh, okay, right.
As a spectator, and somebody who loves like being in the moment and celebrating and goals happening, I think video review has absolutely destroyed some of that stuff that I've really loved about the game. And it's fit me into college soccer, which is scary. VAR, video review.
All right.
Fan reviews.
On the VAR. Matt L., same question.
I agree, and I would on with what Coach Rich said, but I would also say I don't hold this against soccer as much as other people, but I would like to see the flopping and the diving just limited a little bit. I mean, because it's still a thing that prevents so many people from like going all in on soccer. They're just like, I want to watch guys. Somebody look like they got shot again, roll around for 20 minutes. Like, you're right. It's absurd. And it's trickled down into the youth game. I see kids doing it at my kids' games now, rolling around. Like, get out. Like, stop trying. The ref in the U10 game is not going to call a PK. So just get up, stop flopping in the box. Like, it's just they never call them, first of all. So stop flopping. It bothers me, and I love soccer and I love pretty much everything about it, but I do hate that this desire to roll around and act like you've had the worst injury of your life all the time with every shoulder to shoulder play. I think that's going to stop.
I'm on board with you, but I think you might have it backwards. I think the 6, 7, and 8-year-olds, they invented flopping. At a young age, my kid was faking injuries. The question is, why is a grown man doing it?
I feel like when I was playing youth soccer, you were just trying to truck over as many people as you could to score a goal. I mean, that's how you score goals. You just like ran recklessly around, like, and
that's what you did. You left a trail of kids crying in the back.
Well, that's just what it was, and now everyone's just falling all over the place.
I think that's the beauty of the game, Matt. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
I'm going to take a positive route here.
Go ahead, Matt.
I think I've just also, starting this job and watching more soccer, I think I've really appreciated the buildup of a match and sort of something that, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I feel like my patience would have been like, I need action, I need more goals or anything. But I think I've learned to really appreciate that, breaking down a defense or the buildup for 20 minutes of something happening. And I think now I'm excited for that part of the game. And I think I enjoy seeing everything unfold, and it doesn't have to be this instant gratification play or something like that. So I think that, and I probably wouldn't have gave that answer 2 years ago. So I think I've learned to love that about soccer.
Patience.
You understand the beautiful game, young man.
I'm growing up.
All right.
That can lead to late game winners, which is one of my favorite things.
That is awesome too. Yeah. Or like a tie game with 10 minutes left. I think that's my favorite part of soccer.
It's special. Sure.
All right. Excellent answers. On question number 2, we've done hundreds of episodes of this podcast, and yet we've never asked the most burning question of all. Matty D, we'll start with you. What is your most memorable story about a soccer ball striking you in an unwelcome way? Or someone else?
I don't even know. I don't know if
That's been the elephant in the room for like
It's
2
right.
years.
I don't know if I've
Finally
ever.
asked
I don't know if I've ever been hit. And
Either you or something you witnessed that was just kind of a bummer.
like in the gonads,
You said that, not me. I mean, it could be that you were sitting at a picnic table at a tournament and a ball.
there's nothing that comes to. I don't know if I've ever been hit.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll bring in a soccer ball next time. We'll just test it.
Please don't.
Run an experiment in the studio.
That's okay. Matt L., you got one?
It's never happened to me either in a soccer game. It's happened in a basketball game and not in a soccer game. Trying to think if I've witnessed any. Oh, I did see, but it wasn't south of the border when the guy got it. But I did see our keeper my senior year had a collision. It was rough. He was going up for a ball, and a striker from the other team was going up for it too, and just kneed him right in the
Chest right in the middle of the chest, yeah.
And he just immediately started violently throwing up all over. That one always sticks out to me because it was like there was 2 minutes left in the game too. It was like the end of the game, and he was just violently throwing up all over the field. And it was just we were all nervous, and I think he ruptured his spleen on the play. That was the biggest memorable.
This was supposed to be light, Matt.
I know. Well, you asked me. This is what you get.
I asked the question.
This is what you get.
All right.
Put me in a dark place.
That's okay. That's a good answer. Anytime there's vomiting involved, it's notable.
I can't remember a ball hitting.
Yeah, when that guy ruptured his Achilles, that play, that was.
Well, when I think of a ball or a collision or something, that's the one that always comes to my mind from my playing career. Yeah.
Coach, how about yourself?
Yeah, I've been hit a bunch. Nothing stands out. Not one, but there's one time I caught a volley in the head as an assistant. So I was I was on Southern New Hampshire as an assistant, and we were playing small sided before the Elite Eight or the Final Four, one of those two. And there was a bouncing ball, and one of our guys volleyed and hit me right in the head. I was pretty sure I was concussed for the entire rest of the tournament. But okay, so that's the last time I'll jump in and just kind of have a little run around. Thought it was all running games. So yeah, that stands out to me as something that just out of nowhere, bang, 5 yards away, right in the face.
Wow. All right. Quite good answers all around. I feel pain all around my body. Coach, final question for you. Sure. What is, in your memory, the greatest comeback in soccer? So this could be, you could answer it either sort of the greatest comeback in a single game in history. You could take it in the direction of a team that recovered from bad times or something like that, or even a player, I suppose. And it could be personal or something you've witnessed from afar. All right. I was stalling for you, Coach, so you could come up with good answers. So best comeback?
Best comeback, man, that is a tricky one. All my buddies are going to kill me for not saying some Premier League games. that were there.
That's all right. Just hold that thought. Do you guys, someone want to buzz in first? No?
Doherty, you got a bunch of these, right? I'm drawing a blank on a specific comeback.
Or even one that you saw that nobody else saw,
Yeah, I covered a lot of high school soccer in the days, but I can't. I'm trying to think of the craziest game I saw.
Or it could be
recent Champions League games have been incredible. The Inter Milan game that they just came back and won. There's so many of those, but I'm not having anything just stand out.
David, you stumped us.
Well,
I think.
Didn't Vermont win the national championship on a comeback? Weren't they down 1-0 and they scored 2? I think they
came back.
They were one. They were down every game.
They were like the comeback kids last year, and that's what immediately came to mind because I remember watching their games last year. Yeah, I didn't expect Rich to say it. That's his rival. He's not going to praise them.
Don't say the V word on this podcast when Rich is here.
The V word. I do remember them. I mean, last year I think in the Class A championship, Taft came back and beat Milton Academy. There's just so many you see over the course that are great in the moment. I can't single one out.
I mean, can you not to belabor it, but I mean, you even have a memory of someone coming back from a 3-goal deficit or a 4-goal deficit.
Yeah, I'm sure it's happened.
I think I've seen it too, but
There was a high school game I've covered, a state tournament game, where I think someone tied it with like 16 seconds left and then won in overtime and went on to win the state championship. I can't think of the exact team, but I think that's like when your season's about to be over and you score and then you end up winning the game and going and making it further. Like, I think that's the craziest.
Well, what's remarkable,
you're like seconds away from like it being over, and then you somehow find a way to tie it and move on. Like that. That's my favorite comeback in soccer.
A comeback in soccer is more remarkable than any other sport, anyways, because goals are just difficult to come by. So if you're down like 2-0 and you end up winning 3-2 with I don't care who it is, if you make the comeback, it's phenomenal, because it's not like other sports where it's just there's no guarantee of a goal ever happening in soccer. It's a difficult task. So to come back is great.
I remember I was recruiting actually and watching like the New England Revolution. I think it was the 19s or the 17s play at like the playoffs. And it was a back and forth game, but they were down like 2-0, like you're talking about, I'm pretty sure. And there was like 10 minutes left. Score. Then the same guy scores. Then the kid scores a pipe, I'm pretty sure. And then there was like in the 89th minute, all the kids like rushed the field, like, because like all these other teams had like gravitated around it. That's like probably the best like MLS Next or Academy game that I've ever seen from a recruiting standpoint. It always stood out in my mind. And the guy who scored the goals is a pro now. So he, good player and great win. So that one stands out.
It's one of the more frustrating things actually about soccer sometimes to me. It's like sometimes when you see a team chasing a goal late and they're just so assertive and so aggressive and their attack is just so relentless. And I know it's different playing styles. Like the team in the lead is playing more conservative and sitting back a bit, but like it shows you like when a team really wants to attack and be super assertive in the attack, they can do it. It's just you just can't hold it up for 90 minutes. It's too it's hard. Yeah, it's too hard to hold that
momentum of it all. Really forward for sure.
What you said reminded me of an episode of a documentary series, which Matt L, you've probably heard me mention it too many times in the past, but on Netflix, there's a documentary series called Losers, and each episode is its own thing. And one of them is about the town of Torquay in the UK, Torqua. I don't know, Torquay United were facing relegation, and I believe it was sometime in the 1980s. And they needed at least a draw, to avoid relegation, and they're playing at their home arena, and so everyone knows basically the fate of the franchise is on the line, because if they get relegated, it probably won't be able to be supported. And they're trailing 1-0, and it was such chaos in the arena, because for all we know, the fans might tear down the arena if it's their last game. They had police dogs there, and at one point, one of the players went on the sidelines, was near the sidelines, and got bit by a police dog. And so at that moment, of course, they stopped play. They had to tend to him. And because of that, the injury time provided a cushion for Torquay to tie the game.
Wow.
And the place went bonkers. And the dog became a hero.
Of course.
Wow.
So check that out on
Netflix.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's incredible.
So there you go. Fantastic job on Extra Time, and the greatest comeback was the way you guys answered that last question, because at the beginning, we were struggling.
I was touch and go for a while.
That's right. You worked together. Well done all around. And Matty D, back to you to wrap things up.
Thank you, Rich, for joining us, and it was a pleasure to have you on, and we'll follow this fall. Good luck with everything this season, and thanks again for coming on.
Really appreciate it, and great chatting with you guys and talking about UNH, and here we go.
Thanks, Rich.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks so much.
Thank you again to Rich Weinrebe from UNH. The New England Soccer Journal's The Goal podcast is produced by David Yaz and is a Siemens Media production.
You've been listening to New England Soccer Journal's The Goal podcast. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to our podcast. Or visit anysoccerjournal.com/podcast. Siemens Media. Inspiring, informative, insightful.